Shruti Shekhar is a tech expert. She's managing editor for Android Central. With me this morning to talk all things tech, including this TikTok story. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Heather.
Glad to have you with us today on a day when I was just mentioning, Shruti, Ottawa is banning TikTok from all of the federal issued devices. Not banning TikTok across the country, but it was interesting to hear the Prime Minister yesterday suggest that this might be a time for Canadians to reflect, in his words, on the security of their own data, to make choices as a consequence. So I'd like to talk to you for a bit of a basic primer. What are the security concerns about TikTok and the way it collects and stores data?
One of the biggest issues is that TikTok is considered a China-based company because its parent company, ByteDance, is actually a China-based company. And one of the kind of weird, convoluted rules in China is that if you are a China-based company, then you will be required to give data to the government, the Chinese government, whenever they feel like they need that information. And so there's this ongoing concern and conversation around, will TikTok give any kind of information to the Chinese government? Now, TikTok has vehemently said, no, we don't do that. We actually have rerouted data through the U.S., so you don't have to worry. That's where we store U.S. data, U.S. and Canada data. But there seems to still be this cybersecurity concern. And TikTok in the past has also admitted that, they have collected data, personal information, whatever it may be, for the algorithm. And that kind of practice just doesn't seem very good. And it also goes into that higher level conversation of our relationship with China and that political sort of conversation that happens there. And so I think that's sort of where that concern comes from. And of course, this has been an ongoing conversation in the US, in Europe. They both kind of had this decision that, we need to do more cybersecurity research and investigation into TikTok. And now Canada is sort of following suit on that. And I'm not entirely surprised that this is a step that the government has taken.
You're right. Some have said Canada's actually lagged in this because of what American and European countries and governments are doing. CBC News.ca is a place that you can go to read more about this, the specific concerns, but quite right, pointing out accessing what is on your phone because of how it's collected and stored. Are there other apps, though, beyond TikTok that we should be concerned about for these same reasons?
I think any app in general, and I think this is something that I've sort of spoken about all the time before, is just be aware when you are downloading an app. It doesn't matter whether it's a China-based app or if it's a US-based app. We've seen Facebook and Instagram collect data in the past. It doesn't matter which app it's coming from. Just always realize that it's really important what information you're putting on these apps and whether you're allowing the app to collect your location data, the type of information you're putting. Just be aware, because once you're on the internet, it's really hard to kind of erase yourself from the internet, if that makes sense.
We're going to talk about that, too, in a little bit more detail. But beyond just awareness and limiting what you put out there, are there other tools? Are there other ways, tips to protect ourselves?
Absolutely. Whenever you're, using an app like TikTok, especially that, it's in the limelight right now, try to avoid posting personal information, your birthday, your full name. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I have TikTok. I love it. I use it as a form of entertainment, but being very cautious and aware of what information you're putting on the app is important. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, turning off your location data so that it can't track your movements. I think that's also really critical when you're trying to protect that information that's being collected by the app.